Welcome everybody to our online program on addiction and recovery from the Sunshine Coast Health Center up here in Powell River, British Columbia. And for this program, we're going to look at a very interesting result we found from our recently completed research project. So over the space of about 6 months, volunteers gave us their understanding of what addiction was and what recovery was all about before and after treatment. What we were actually interested in the research project was to understand more in-depthly the nature of the therapy that we're doing here. And in analyzing the results, one of the most interesting things that came out is 100% of the people who volunteered for our study believed that drug use was a conscious choice on their part. Now, if you watch the HBO specials on addiction or Time magazine, or even this recent book I've just been looking at, David Sheff's book called Clean. All of these talk about addiction as a physical problem in which the person is powerless over their addiction. There's this common idea that the drug hitting the brain somehow conscripts the brain, or some scientists say hijacks the brain, rendering the drug addict powerless over his drug use. And that idea conflicts with what we found in our research. So we found this is quite interesting. So one of the things we wondered is if the fellows were, if they didn't know about this idea that maybe addiction is rooted in their brain chemistry. And they said, no, they were very familiar with this. They understood that. They understood the 12-step program, that step 1, we're powerless over our addiction. They understood all that, but they just didn't believe it. So this is a very interesting result. So I thought we'd take some time and understand what it was that our participants thought addiction was. And to start off with, a lot of them said basically it was self-medication. So their initial thing when we first asked them, they said, well, I have a rough day at work, so I go home and I have a few drinks and that relaxes me. Or, oh, I ran into a problem, I was so stressed out, geez, I just need to do something. In other words, they talked about this conscious use of the drug in order to get rid of these negative moods, this negative emotions they were feeling. And that was fairly common. We probed a little deeper and asked, well, how did it get out of hand then? And that one kind of baffled them. They weren't quite sure about that. They offered a few answers, but not really all that convincing, and they didn't believe it themselves. But this initial idea that they were feeling something they didn't like, stress or maybe feelings of abandonment or something, and so they would use the drug to self-medicate. So that was the first thing they said initially. At any rate, that's it for this one, and we'll be back next time with another video, again, centering on this idea that we found in our research that our volunteers who participated in our project actually believed that addiction was a conscious choice. Okay?